Hello everyone. Today in this PPT we will be discussing about the topic data and mobile communication, which is the unit 5 of communication and computer network. Myself Chetan Shankar Patil, MTech Digital Electronics, HOD Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, Jain Polytechnic, Belgavi. So this topic is related to electrical and electronic student of diploma. So let's begin with the contents. First, we will be discussing about the introduction of mobile networks. The next, multi-cell system, then frequency reuse, then GSM, then GSM system architecture, GSM operation, GPRS, 2G versus 3G comparison we will be doing. The next, data communication. The next, serial versus parallel transmission. The next, modem. The next, frequency shift keying. The next, UART. The next, phase shift keying. The next, BPSK, that is binary phase shift keying. The next, BPSK modulator, and at last BPSK demodulator. Okay, then first we'll be starting about the introduction. So what is your cell? Cell is nothing but your mobile network or cellular network distributed over a land areas. So how it will be distributed according to the, it is called as the cell. So cell is nothing but a certain geographic area in a mobile system having several mobile users and base station. That is, it might be either transmitter and receiver both. The next, the transmitter, it is powerful, it will cover an area of 50 kilometer radius. The next, the cell is chosen as hexagon, means its shape is hexagon because more area is covered and less number of cells are required to cover given network area. If the cell was circular, then what would have happened? Certain network areas would be not covered if it was circular. If you join circles, you can see in between there will be gaps. Okay, so like that it is. The next one, multi-cell system. So here in multi-cell system, the service area is divided into small regions that are called as the cells. Okay, this each cell is allocated some channel. All the mobile, when they are in the cell, use these channels of communication. So you can see over there are base station in each cell. Mobile users will be around the base station, that is cell clusters, you can see in the diagram. The next one is what? Your multi-cell system. In multi-cell system, the service area is divided into small regions called cells. So each cell is allocated some channels, and all the mobile, when they are in that cell, use these channels for communication. Okay, the next one is frequency reuse. So frequency reuse means what? Here every cellular service provider will be allocated a fixed number of channels for use in the service area. Then this service provider has a make best use of the channels to provide the maximum number of simultaneous cells. Here what it will be, you can use, now for example you can see in the diagram F2 is there. Okay, besides F2, once again that same cell will be not there, but after leaving that, after some cells, you can reuse it. So it is marked, see there, F7 is there, one more F7 is there, and one more, so 3 times F7 is there, means same you can use. Okay, so like that it will be. In frequency reuse, each cell is assigned a group of radio channels. The same channel can be reused in another cluster of cells. Okay, so in that figure you can see group of cluster, each having 7 cells is shown. Okay, cells denoted by F1 in all 3 clusters can use the same set of channels provided there is a minimum separation of distance. Okay, so it will be not besides each other, but after some distance it will be, you can use the same. The next one is your GSM, that is global system for mobile communication. So what it is nothing but your digital cellular system. Okay, so what are the GSM services? There are total 3 main services. Teleservices. So teleservices is used for what? Your voice mail, fax mail, SMS. The next one, barrier services, that is your nothing but your internet access, okay, and data transfer. The next, supplementary services, means extra services. Those are called as call forwarding, barring outgoing calls, then barring incoming calls, advice of charge, call hold, call waiting, then calling line or number identification. The next one, GSM system architecture. You can see in the diagram over there, this is the GSM system architecture. So there are small box, short forms are written in that. So each what it means, we'll see. First, PLMN is public land mobile network. Then MS is mobile station. BSS is base station subsystem. Then NSS is network switching subsystem. Then fixed public network. MSC is mobile switching center. BSC is base station controller. Then BTS is base transceiver subsystem. Then VLR is visitor location register. HLR is home location register. AVC is authentication center. EIR is equipment identity register. Then MXE is message center. Then OMC is operation and maintenance center. So this PLMM, now we are seeing about the public land mobile network we are seeing. So what all it is consisting? It is consisting of, first block you can see, it is nothing but your mobile station. Mobile station means what? Your cell phone, okay. The next one is BSS, base station subsystem. Besides that mobile, you are seeing one block, that is BSS. The next one is NSS, network switching subsystem. Beside that main block, center one, that is network switching subsystem, and last is fixed public network, okay. Then first one here, how now that your GSM, that public land mobile network, how it will be operating. So as I told you, first one, you will be seeing the center part, that is NSS, network switching subsystem. The main component of network system is MSC, that is mobile switching center. You can see in center it is there, see MSC, okay. So mobile switching center provides complete switching function for the entire network. So it will be controlling all the functions, okay. Then what all it will be doing? Traffic analyzing, billing, call routing and call handling. Then message, that is SMS routing, configuration management it will do, call setup, supervision and echo cancellation, okay. So in that you can see there is what? HLR is what? Home location register. So what it will do? It will be storing some information. In that, what information will be stored? Subscriber information, location information and activity status, okay. Then next is what? AUC, that is authentication center. What it will be doing? It contains security information, that is IMSI, International Mobile Subscriber Identity. That is the unique number associated with GSM for identifying a GSM subscriber, okay. The next one is VLR, Visitor Location Register. What it will be doing? It is a database that contains temporary information about all mobile subscriber currently located in MSC service area. Means where that mobile, now you will be carrying a mobile from one place to another. So which location, in which tower area it is operating, that will be there in that visitor location register, okay. The next one is equipment identity register. So here the database, it will be containing the information about the identity of mobile equipment. Each mobile station is identified by IMEI, that is International Mobile Equipment Identity, okay. The next one is mobile station, we will be seeing. So your mobile station is nothing but your mobile phone, okay. So it consists of what? Radio transceiver, display and digital signal processor it will be having, okay. The mobile station contains what it all it will be containing again? Subscriber identity model, that is inside your mobile there will be a SIM, okay. So SIM is what? SIM is a smart card inserted in the handset. It is protected by PIN, personal identity numbers, that is password. SIM contains IMSI to identify the handset hardware, and uniquely it is having IMEI is used, which is the number given by the manufacturer. That is IMEI number you will be having for each handset. The next one is what? Base station subsystem. So what it consists of? Two parts, BSC and BTS. BSC is what? Base station controller, and BT is what? Base transceiver station. So BSS acts as a relay between MS and NSS. Okay. Then the service area is arranged into cells. So BSC, base station controller, what it will be doing? It is a connection made between mobile station and mobile service switching center it is. Okay. So here each BSC controls a number of BTS, typically up to 40. Okay. The next BTS, base transceiver subsystem. It is located at the center of each cell. Each cell will be having one base transceiver subsystem. It is a link between MSC and BSC. Communication between MS and BTS is through one channel consisting of pair of frequency, uplink and downlink. Okay. So what all this? Each BTS will be having 1 to 16 transceivers. Okay. The frequency allocation for GSM is 900 megahertz bands. The next one is OMC, Operation and Maintenance Center. So it is used to carry out network management activities such as fault finding, various network elements, traffic analyzing, billing, performance of management, then configuration management, etc. The next one is Message Center. It is a node that provides voice, data and fax messaging. Okay, it handles SMS, cell broadcast, voicemail, fax mail, email messaging. Okay. The next one is what? Gateway MSC. When a PLMN contains more than one MSC, then one of the MSCs is designated as a gateway MSC to interconnect with the other network such as PSTN and ISDN. To connect with the other network, this gateway MSC is used. The next one is what? We will be seeing about GSM operation, means what? How calling is done. Okay. So first one we will be seeing about call from mobile station. How call is done from the mobile station. First, the MSC/VLR receives the message of call request. The next, MSC/VLR checks if the mobile station is authorized to access the network. Then MSC/VLR, what it will do? Analyzes the number and initiates a call setup with PSTN. The next, it asks the corresponding BSC to allocate a traffic channel. The next, BSC allocates a traffic channel and passes the information to mobile station. Then called party, it will answer the call. Conversation, when it will pick up the call, then conversation takes place. The next, mobile station keeps on taking measurements of the track. It will track the measurements of the radio channel in the present cell and neighboring cell and passes the information to the BSC. The next, we will be seeing about in this manner what it will be calling is done to a mobile station. The next, call to a mobile station. From mobile station we had seen now we will see call to a mobile station. First, what it will do? Gateway MSC receives a call, inquires the HLR of the information needed to route call to servicing MSC and VLR. Then GMSC routes the call to MSC/VLR. The next, MSC checks the VLR for location, area and MS. The next, what will happen? MSC contacts the MS through BSC by sending a request. MS, then mobile station responds to the request. Then what will happen? The BSC allocates a traffic channel. Then it will send a message to the MS to tune the channel. The MS generates a ringing signal. When the subscriber answers, the speech connection is established. So the mobile station, what it will generate? A ringing, means you will get a ringtone when your call will come. Okay. Then after hearing that, you will pick up the call. Then it will be, the calling will be established. So handover, if required, takes place. Okay. So like this, calling process is done. Okay. The next one we will be seeing about GPRS, that is General Packet Radio Service. So here GPRS, what it is? It is nothing but your internet. Okay. So it is mobile access, that is GSM with internet protocol based service using packet data transmission that makes highly efficient use of radio spectrum and enables high speed. What are the functions of SGSN are? First, mobility management, packet routing and transfer, logical link management, authentication and billing. So here GPRS network acts in parallel with GSM network. So GSM network provides voice and GPRS network handles the data. So GSM network, what it will do? It will be handling voice, means calling, and GPRS, it will be handling the internet. So the block diagram, as you can see, that is the block diagram for a GPRS. So gateway GPRS supports node GGSN is gateway between GPRS wireless network and IP based data network. Then GGSN carried out the necessary protocol conversion, address conversion, service GPRS support node, routes the delivers the packet data between GGSN and proper BSS of the GSM network. Okay. Then next, the location register of SGSN. So what all it will be doing, as we have seen, it will be packet routing and transfer, then billing and all that will be doing. Okay, as it is mentioned over here. The next one we will be seeing about the what difference between 2G and 3G network. So the bandwidth of 2G was 14.4 to 64 kbps. Then in 3G it became 2 mbps. Then which type of multiplexing 2G was using? TDMA, that is time division multiple access, and CDMA. Here in 3G, CDMA, WCDMA and TDMA, FDMA, these all were used. The next one, technology. What technology was that? Digital cellular technology, GSM. Here it was broadband ISDN and CDMA IP technology. The next, in 2G, what all was there? Services were there, voice, audio and short messages. In 3G, integrated high quality voice, audio, video conference and data transmission was there. So what was the speed? 236 kbps in 2G. But in 3G, the speed was 21 mbps and 5.7 mbps respectively. The cost of 2G was less. The cost of 3G is more. Then next, what was the additional features? Here nothing additional features were there. But in 3G, what was there? Mobile TV, then video transfer and GPS system. Then next, in 2G, were only calls were made. Here calls made and video calls were also possible. Then core network, what 2G was using was PSTN. Here in 3G it was packet network. When it was launched 2G? In 1991. 3G was launched in 2001. Okay. Then next one is data communication. So data communication is what? Transmitting digital data between two or more computers. Okay, that is your data communication we will be seeing. Then modes of transmission, what were there? Parallel data transmission. Parallel means what it will be doing? It will be transferring all the data at the same time simultaneously, as you can see in the diagram. Okay, then next, serial data transmission. Serial data transmission means what? Here the user only one line was there and the transferring was done one by one after the another. Okay, one bit at a time it was done in serial data transmission, as you can see in the diagram. The next we will be seeing this both what it was doing in a comparison. So here what it was there, how many numbers are line in serial? Only one. In parallel, number of lines were many, that is multiple lines. Then number of bits, only one bit sent at a time. Here all the data bits were sent simultaneously in parallel. Then distance, used for long distance transmission, serial. Here in parallel it is used for short distance. Then serial will be cost is less, but parallel cost is more. In serial speed is slow, but in parallel speed is faster. Here serial will be using which modes? Asynchronous and synchronous modes of serial transmission. In parallel, no modes were used in parallel transmission. Okay. Then next, this serial data transmission, there are two types. We can see over there by doing the comparison. Okay, which are those? Asynchronous and synchronous. Okay, so here in asynchronous data is grouped into bytes. In synchronous, bytes are grouped into blocks. Start and stop bits are attached to each bit. In asynchronous, here starter and stop bits are not required. In synchronous, in synchronous, character is not transmitted. Here character is transmitted in synchronous. Okay. The next, in asynchronous, separate clock pulse is required for sender and receiver. In synchronous, same clock is used. Okay, no separate. The next one, in asynchronous, low speed communication is there. In synchronous, high speed communication is there. Whereas in asynchronous, different idle time between character is there. In synchronous, there is no idle time between the character. Okay. The next we will be seeing some definition. That is, first one, digital bandwidth. Bandwidth is what? The data speed. Okay, it determines the data speed measured in hertz. That is, amount of information or data can be transmitted through a line. That is your bandwidth. The next, channel capacity. The path for transmitter to receiver for information to travel is called as the channel. Okay, and what is the capacity? It is nothing but the maximum data which can be transferred through that channel. The next one, bit rate. Bit rate is defined as the number of bit intervals per second. Baud rate. Baud rate is nothing but it measures the number of symbols transmitted per second. How many symbols can be transmitted per second it is. Then next we will be seeing about the modem. So modem is what? Modem is nothing but it is a device containing both modulator and demodulator. It allows the computers to communicate over the telephone wires or cables. Okay. Then next, why it is needed? Because the modem, it is needed because we require at transmitting and modulates, it will convert binary signal into analog signal, and at the receiving end it will demodulate, that is it will convert analog signal into binary signal. That's why it is needed. Okay. The next one, digital modulation has three basic types, that is amplitude shift keying, frequency shift keying and phase shift keying. Okay. So we will be studying all these three. First one, frequency shift keying. You can see over the diagram here what will be having, only the frequency is varied. The carrier signal frequency is varied, only carrier signal frequency is varied, and amplitude and phase is kept constant. You can see in the diagram. After mixing, you can see only the frequency is varied, amplitude and phase is kept constant. Okay. The next, UART. UART is what? Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter. So this UART in the diagram you can see it is used in both the systems. It contains in both the systems. Why it is used? Because it will perform parallel to serial and serial to parallel of the data transfer. That's why UART is used. You can see it is used in the both transmitter as well as receiver. Okay, understood this thing? The next one is you will be studying about phase shift keying. So phase shift keying is what? In phase shift keying, the binary signal to be transmitted only changes the phase. Okay, only the phase is changed, but no, it will be changed according to what? Your binary 0 and 1. Okay, and the frequency and amplitude will be constant. The next one, BPSK we will be studying. That is nothing but binary phase shift. The simplest form of BPSK is called as binary phase shift keying. Okay, so you can see in the waveform, you can see the phase of the carrier is varied to represent binary 1 or 0. So first one, bit 0, it was there. Now from 0 again it went to up, means bit 1 it will represent. Okay, from 0 again it went up, means it is 1 only. From now 0 it is going to down, so it is 0. You can see in the diagram. Okay, the next one, PPSK modulator. So a modulator, what it is? It is a circuit that varies frequency phase of the signal according to the modulating signal. The modulation of the BPSK is done using a balanced modulator, okay, which multiples the two input signals, multiplies, means it will combine, that is the carrier and your baseband signal, it will be multiplying, that is your balanced modulator. Okay, so how it is working? So here two transformers are there, T1 and T2. Okay, then the carrier wave is applied to the primary of the input transformer T1, and the binary signal is applied to the center tap secondary transformer of T1 and the primary to the transformer T2. The binary signal provides a switching signal for the diodes. The output appears across the secondary output of the transformer. So your T1 transformer is your input, T2 transformer is your output. Okay, during the positive half cycle, okay, what will happen? During the positive half cycle, A is positive and B is negative. It is shown in the diagram. A is positive and B is negative. So diode D1 and D4 will conduct and you will get the output. Okay, 0 degree phase shift. It will be, the output will be 0 degree phase shift during the positive half cycle. Now when when it is binary is 0, when binary 0 is applied, that time it will be. The next one, when binary 1 is applied, that is appears the input, that A will be negative and B will be now positive. So diodes now D2 and D3 will conduct. Okay, and there will be a BPSK output phase will be 180 degree phase shift will happen during this time. Okay, so like this the modulator will be working. Now next one we will be studying about demodulator. A demodulator is a circuit which performs reverse operation of the modulator. Okay, means it will recover the original signal. Then demodulation of BPSK signal is done using balanced modulator. Then the input signal and carrier signal are applied as the input transformer to T1 and T2. The binary data output is taken from the center tap transformers of the two transformers as shown in the figure. You can see in the figure. Okay, in order to correctly recover the binary data transmitted by BPSK, the received signal must be fed to the balance modulator. The carrier is derived from the carrier recovery circuit. Okay, this ensures that the phase of the received signal is compared to the proper phase of the carrier. So as positive cycle, negative cycle, the diodes will be working and you will get the output. So during the positive half cycle, you will get the binary output as 1. During the negative half cycle, you will get the binary output as 0. So like that you will recover the signal. Okay, by this we will be completing the topic. Thank you.